Well, we've just gone under 15 kilometres to go for the peloton. They're still chasing these two French riders here, Jean-Claude Perrault and Pierre Rolland, as they continue now past the famous Sheffield football ground of Hillsborough Stadium here. No football today, though. It's a Sunday and the season's not on at the moment. These boys now are in more or less the city of Sheffield. They're certainly in the boundaries, and we'll circumnavigate a loop of some 7 kilometres to find Jenkin Hill, and that is going to surprise us today, I think. We're looking on the far right there. That's not the best position for that Sky rider.
I think he got caught out a fraction there, and he's going to have to ride that all on his own there. There you can see Pierre Rolland looking very comfortable here. This is the kind of rider we will expect to see riding high in the big mountains, but here he's taken advantage of the short, sharp climbs of Yorkshire to get himself a lead. He's not getting too much cooperation from Jean-Claude Perrault, but I think the Frenchman who's with him from AG2R realises that they're going to get caught on the run-in and the approach to Jenkins Road.
This isn't categorised, by the way, this climb.
No, it's not, but Pierre Rolland says, well, I've got the power in the legs, I've got les fourmis dans les jambes, as the French would like to say this afternoon, so he's taken off everybody here again. They're enjoying the tour in Yorkshire, aren't they? Anywhere they can find some respite and somewhere to rest, and this is a move by Pierre Rolland. Rolland has left Perrault behind him now. And he's got himself quite a nice gap. There'll be a slight slowing down now as they start to get themselves organised for the next climb. He won Alpe d'Huez back in 2011. He won La Toussuire the following year. He wore the King of the Mountains jersey on 2 occasions last year and finished 24th overall after an aggressive ride in the Tour.
With a bit of tempo riding from Team Cannondale. Peter Sagan is still down there, remember. This is a good course for him, but there are plenty of others who are going to feel it's a good course for them now. These riders, some will know, some will not know Jenkin Road. It is a very, very vicious climb. The crowd has swelled somewhat all day on that climb. Pierre Rolland, I wonder if he knows it, because he's a very good climber. 11 days in the leader's jersey in the King of the Mountains last year.
Well, a man who can win Alpe d'Huez will not be too scared of the climbs we've got to throw up, but the problem is he's got a large group of riders behind him and a lot of organised teams who are trying to pull it back together. And obviously Cannondale on a high this afternoon. They know that if their man Peter Sagan can get himself the victory today, he will get himself the yellow jersey. He won 2 stages of the Tour. 2012 was La Toussuire. Last year he was very aggressive. Look at Team Cannondale now. There you can see in that white jersey are about 7th or 8th position, just a little bit further back with the lime green helmet. That's Peter Sagan. And the Slovakian flag, Phil, it's all up and down this finishing straight here. They've come a long way to see our Peter.
And he's not out of it by any manner of means yet. There's a lot of riders here. They're just waiting to see the slopes of Jenkin Road now. That's all. It's a left-hand turn. We go onto it. And we drove it this morning and we were quite surprised. I'd never heard of Jenkin Road before. It's an area of Sheffield I'd never seen. We're going to see it firsthand in a minute with the Tour de France on it. Pierre Rolland is still gritting his teeth here. He's committed now. Coming up 12 kilometres out. He's a quality rider, this boy, and he could well hold them off, and they're going to gang up against him now. On the far left, the white jersey of the world champion gesticulating there to one of the riders, because that is Rui Costa, and this is an absolutely perfect course for him as well. Valverde is in there, so too Peter Sagan. Chris Froome could even come out and play on this particular road today.
Well, this man has taken the bull by the horns, Pierre Rolland, this afternoon, but you've got the big organised chase coming from Team Cannondale. His gap is still holding at 13 seconds. That's around about 250 metres. When they come to Jenkins Hill, they would almost be able to reach out and put their hands on his back. They're going to be so close to him. The big names now are all waiting. Look, just a little bit further back to the right-hand side there, you can see the Italian national champion, Vincenzo Nibali. He's looking, I may well be looking for the victory here this afternoon.
He rode yesterday near the front, and he's ridden all day today. He's the first turquoise jersey on the right of our picture there. It's slightly different to the rest because he has got the trickle of the Italian bands. around his chest as the new road race champion. Back up with the leader, 10 seconds the gap. He's not going anywhere, but they're not going anywhere either. That's the better way to look at it. Is the half pint full or is it half empty? As the Group Maillot Jaune falls away from our screens for another day. Now he's nearly 15 minutes behind Marcel Kittel, and he'll be 20 by the time he gets to the finish. Roland permits himself the privilege of looking over his shoulder. We are scooping down now, this left-hander. We are just 5 kilometres from Jenkin Road. Once over the top, we're just about the same to the finish.
Yeah, so it's going to take them that 5 kilometres to get to the climb. Because of these speeds, it's going to take them around about 5 minutes to start the climb, and then they change their gearing right from the biggest gear that they've got almost to the smallest gear that they've got for this small 800-metre ascent, which tips out at 18–90% at some points. This team are sacrificing themselves. This is Cannondale, a team that originally was based outside of Connecticut, but the headquarters now is across the border in Canada, but it's still a bicycle manufacturer that sponsors one of the top teams in the world, and they're looking today for a yellow jersey at the end of the stage.
This is the lone figure of Pierre Rolland of France, the survivor of the breakaway. 10 kilometres to go now, and Cannondale are stretching. Cannondale are launching the first moves here now as they go under 10 kilometres. That's about 8 seconds.
Well, this is what it's like, Phil, when you are riding for a man who you really believe in. And these 3 guys we're looking at here on the front of the main field, they believe in Peter Sagan. They believe that this man is going to be the yellow jersey at the end of the day. They will ride their hearts out right now to try and put Peter Sagan in an ideal position at the start of this massive final climb of the day. Yes, it's only at 5 kilometres to go, but it'll only take them around about 5 minutes from the top of the final climb to get to the finish. But watch out for the corners, because coming around those corners in the car this morning on the way to the finish, I thought, oh, thank goodness it's dry, and it still is.
Now, Roland, 3 kilometres to the foot of the Côte de Jenkin Road at the moment. Peter Sagan I saw sitting 12 men down in this straight line. He wears a white jersey, remember. He's got closer now. He's just peeping into our picture. He knows what his team are doing, and so do the rest of the race. They know Sagan is a big danger on this stage now. And Pierre Roland just gets on with the job and hopes they forget him. Unlikely chance now. We are in the streets of Sheffield, the former city of steel here, as it was until about the 80s. And now we are seeing these boys pace him towards Jenkin Road.
Well, the tough thing for a guy like Pierre Rolland in the dark green jersey at the front there is he's been riding like this on his own at a fairly steady tempo. Once he gets to that climb, it's going to be very, very hard. It's as if somebody's taken a high lift jack and jacked up the road in front of him and then notched it up a couple of more sections there. Look at that. Not very much. That gap is no longer 10 or 8 seconds. It's all over Pierre Rolland now. Now what they're going to be starting to do is to queue up for this next big climb. And this is the climb of Jenkins Road. It's going to be very, very hard indeed. Geraint Thomas is right up there. I'm looking for the white jersey because there he is in the middle with the lime green shorts. Peter Sagan leads the best young rider competition. That's why he's right in there. Rui Costa is also in there in a white jersey, but his jersey's got the rainbow bands of world champion right round the middle.
8 kilometres to go. Just 8 kilometres. 5 miles. The peloton comes back together again now. Now the men who still feel strong think this is my day. This is my stage in the Tour de France. And it is Orica Greenedge on the right now who believes it could be their day with Simon Gerrans, the man who fell in the sprint in collision with Cavendish yesterday.
The one man that they are working for there, though, is Michael Albertini. He's also a good rider when it comes to this kind of finish. He likes this kind of finish. He's an explosive rider. These guys at the back, well, they're pretty much giving up the ghost here this afternoon. Simon Gerrans, there he is, 181. I think Orica Greenedge may well have given the nod to Albertini. That is Albertini in 3rd, 4th position there at the back end of the line of Orica Greenedge. Team Cannondale, though, in the lime green jerseys, Phil, they won't give up. Now moving up into 3rd or 4th position. Sorry about the little bit of picture breakup. That's because we're going underneath the railway line there. Makes a bit of a problem with the pictures there. But there in 6th, 7th position in that white jersey, lime green helmet, that is Peter Sagan. He's looking for this. He knows if he can be first across the line today, there's no counting, there's no nothing. He's going to be the overall leader.
This is all about the battle now of Jenkin Road, and that's why the pace is so high. It's position now. Once they see the corner, they don't see the climb till they go around the bend, and there it is. They're all fighting for front positions here now. and Orica Greenedge are going to be left with only Albacini on the front if they keep that pace up. There is the massive crowd all watching with suspense on the big screens here. This has been one of the most remarkable days in the history of the Tour de France as far as the public has been concerned, and it has been a superb race as well.
Well, that's Albacini just popping around there. You can see in second position there. He knows what's going to happen next. It's going to be a massive big attack. We're not far now from the very sharp left-hand bend. At the back of the pack, well, I don't think it's going to be Simon Gerrans. He is, Phil, today paying for that very nasty accident he had. But you know what? It's pretty impressive that he's still in here at the moment. You can just see through his shorts there the bandages across those injuries from yesterday. Everybody now wants to be in the first 10 or 15 positions. Lynn, about 4th or 5th position, is a white jersey, a lime green helmet. That's Peter Sagan. He really wants this today. Cast my mind back to that finish just outside of Liège. It's a similar kind of finish where Peter Sagan surprised a certain Fabian Cancellara.
We're about to hit the slopes now of Jenkin Road here. Watch out, and he's got advantage Orica Greenedge as they go around the corner, and Albacini in second place. But now, this is now a very steep climb. It's a shame we can't see how steep it is, but the legs will tell you, and watch how they crack one by one on this climb. It is a real grovel and gets steeper.
Well, the rider on the front for Liquigas and Cannondale is really putting the hammer down. He's riding his own personal race here for as long as he can. Orica Greenedge are disappearing one by one. Albacini's looking pretty good. You know, when he rode the Tour of Romandy in April, he won stages 1, 2 and 4. He was almost unbeatable. Moving up now, there is Alberto Contador, and this is the kind of climb that he likes. Right behind him is Vincenzo Nibali. Chris Froome is in there as well. These big boys are coming out on only the second day of the Tour de France. So much they feel that this second stage is important. Up into 5th place. Look at Peter Sagan there, grimacing. He's got to hold on. He's not got the climbing ability of some of these guys like Contador, but there he goes.
Sagan on the right, but I think he suddenly realised he's mixed himself up with the heads of state in this race. Chris Froome has had to come up on the back wheel of Alberto Contador. On our right, Vincenzo Nibali has pierced the front. This is turning out to be a battle of the men who expect to be on the podium in Paris. And here we are on a little road in a back street of the city of Sheffield in Yorkshire. Contador heads them up Jenkin Road.
Well, it gets very, very steep, this climb, but you can see Alberto. This is amazing. As you said, it's a little street in the back of Sheffield somewhere. Look at this. Vincenzo Nibali, Alberto Contador, Chris Froome. This is an amazing sight to see. Froome is down into 5th position. Sagan is fighting. He's probably turning himself inside out at the moment. Coming up there on the left-hand side in that red jersey, there is TJ Van Garderen.
Yeah, Van Garden's coming up on the back wheel of Jurgen van den Broek, the other rider in red, another man for the overall who loves the climbs. Peter Sagan has got to the front, and he's just showing up now as an attack, and it had to come. Chris Froome has launched it, and now that's going to cause a reaction, and it's caused a reaction too. But Contador doesn't have the kick Chris Froome has at the moment. TJ Van Garderen is trying to get on his back wheel. These are the names who will win the Tour de France in Paris, and they've come together at the front with 5 kilometres to go. Chris Froome gets the points on the top of Jenkin Road.
That's not important. It's the psychological blow. Look at this one more time. He felt the moment. He rides with feeling, Chris Froome here. Right onto his wheel, though, almost immediately was TJ Van Garderen. He knows this corner. This is the corner I was telling you about. They're all around there. Froome attacked at the top of that climb, Phil, because he wanted to get into this corner nice and safe. Look at that. Chris Froome, a single point, and that's not important for him this afternoon. And there is a little move going on the far side from Astana. Nibali is into 4th position. Fuglsang moving up there. TJ Van Garderen in 3rd, 4th for Peter Sagan. Sagan will not hit the front now, Phil. All he wants to do is stay in a comfortable position if he can. There is confirmation, number 42, Jakob Fuglsang from Team Astana. He will try and keep the pace nice and high if he can, because he's trying to set this up for the man in 4th or 5th position there, Vincenzo Nibali, the champion of Italy. What a finale we're looking at.
Well, the other American is also here, Andrew Talansky, who was his teammate. Slachter was the man that split the head of state away from the field earlier on today. 3.9 kilometres to go. Fuglsang is there, Peter Sagan is there, TJ Van Garderen, Chris Froome, Alberto Contador, Andrew Talansky, Alejandro Valverde, you name them. The top riders, we expect them to be the top riders in the Tour de France, are in this group. And now Sagan pushes on. Now he's not a pure sprinter, that's why we thought he would do well. He is a man, one of the few sprinters who can actually get over hills as well.
Well, you know, this man is a bike racer. He's not. He could actually sit in the group and wait because he is the fastest sprinter in that group. But no, forget it. He wants to go out there. I remember in Gent-Wevelgem when he won that race, he was in a small group of riders. Look at the way he's going around these corners. This man can handle a bike. He can sprint. He can pull a wheelie at the top of a massive big col in the Tour de France if he wants to. But he wants to race right the way down to the finish line. He's not going to sit back and wait for the sprint. He really keeps the pressure on all of the time.
Sagan, Fuglsang, Froome, TJ Van Garderen, Contador, Nibali, Alejandro Valverde, Jurgen van den Broek. They're the riders in the line. Now we've got an attack on the far side of the road. How long can they keep on countering the move? Because this, to me, looks like it is attack. It's Fuglsang gone again here as we run along the banks of the River Don here in Chevy. We're closing in on the finish. 2.5 kilometers to go. TJ Van Garderen has latched on to the back wheel of Fuglsang.
I have a funny feeling that is Greg van Avermaet who's come out of that group there, because TJ Van Garderen is a little bit further back, but the reaction now is coming from Team Sky.
It is indeed Van Avermaet who's come out here. Former Belgian champion gets onto the back wheel. Jurgen van den Broek has come up into third place, looking over to see what's happening. Well, the gap is closing down again. This is amazing. A stage which is not seen as a mountain stage, bringing together for the win all of the contenders in the Tour de France. I think that's a respectful reply to Yorkshire for 2 incredible days of cycling.
Alejandro Valverde having a quick look across there at Peter Sagan. Sagan now has to be very attentive, because if somebody slips away in these final few meters, they could get to the big surprise here. It's Valverde starting to close it down, but Sagan attentive as ever. He's up into third position.
This looks like Perot has gone again here, but he's sat back. No, it isn't. It is it Bardet who's gone? It might be Romain Bardet on the left. It is. The youngster on the left side is a pretty sensational bike rider, but he's gone too soon. Now Nibali has gone. Nibali has launched an incredible attack. He's been waiting for this one. He's been hovering near the front of the peloton for 2 days now. Well, he suddenly found there's fresh air out there. He's gone at 1.8 kilometers to go, and they're all looking at each other. Vincenzo Nibali makes the move.
Well, this is a phenomenal move. Let's not forget, you're looking here at the national champion of Italy as he makes that move there. Peter Sagan is being caught out. They're going to actually try and bury Peter Sagan here because he won't have any friends. They know just how fast he is when it comes down to the finish.
He won last Sunday in Italy. It was the championship of Italy. Is he going to win this Sunday in England? And it'll be stage 2 of the Tour de France, because they're all looking at each other. He might have that one moment of hesitation which delivers the goods to his doorstep.
Well, he looks over his shoulder. He's got air between him and the rest of that group, and he mustn't look back too many times now. They've lost it all now. They've lost the impetus here because they know that in that group they have got Peter Sagan. Sagan is the fastest man in the group. It's a long, hard ride, though, for Vincenzo Nibali inside the final kilometre.
1 kilometre to go, 1,000 metres, even less for Vincenzo Nibali. He's hanging on in there. There's no more hills on this very hilly day in Yorkshire. He's on a flat approach to the finishing line now. They have got to work it out behind. Chris Froome is on the front down there. Sagan is shadowing him. Those hesitations have cost them the stage. Vincenzo Nibali is going to win this stage at 800 metres to go. Those legs must be absolutely screaming. Look at the time. 5 hours, 7 minutes. Now Chris Froome packs the sprint. He finished 6th yesterday. We've got the world champion trying to dig now. It's the white jersey of the world champion. The crowd have realised Chris Froome is making a chase to the world champion, but I think it's all too late. At 450 metres, it's the shades of the world championship here. I don't think Rui Costa can pull this one back. He's just asked Chris Froome to come past him. Froome won't do that at this stage. 300 metres and 250, 7 days after winning the championship of Italy. Vincenzo Nibali is going to win stage 2 of the Tour de France. They're still coming, but it's all too late. Chris Froome has got no support. They're trying to beat Chris Froome and not catch Vincenzo Nibali. The final kick for the line. The champion of Italy, his first days back in the saddle, is now the champion of Sheffield. He wins at the stage of the Tour de France, and I think that they cut away. It was Van Avermaet who may have got second place. We'll check that on the photo. Unbelievable, Paul, and what a great stage.
Well, what a stage to win, especially when you're the newly crowned champion of Italy. And that little time gap at the finishing line there, Phil, is going to give him the overall lead as well. But what a little bit of damage has been done on this second stage of the Tour de France by Vincenzo Nibali.
Well, they'll come in. This is Fabian Cancellara here, bringing home the next group. The average speed today, it's incredible. 39 kilometres an hour, 25 miles an hour, as Cancellara brings that group in, just detached on the climb of Jenkins Hill. There's the massive crowd down there watching on the big screen in the centre of the city of Sheffield, a little bit away from where the riders are actually crossing the line. It has been a marvellous day out, and the Crucible Theatre, the famous theatre here in Sheffield, where the World Snooker Championships are annually held as well. There he is, Vincenzo Nibali, the man who is back. It's only his second win of the year, but it's all happened in just 8 days of cycling. Back out on course now. They'll continue to come in for about 25 minutes at least today. There is Andy Schleck in third wheel here as he comes in. Well, they have ridden the course of this race today so tremendously. A little shrug of the shoulders there by the injured Simon Gerrans. He was looking forward to that stage, but it wasn't to be for him.
Well, you can see a little chat coming up there as they come up towards the finish line. Now they know they've raced in a very difficult race here this afternoon. Simon Gerrans, well, it was a bit too much of an ask after hitting the ground at around about 40 miles an hour yesterday, but this man timed it to perfection. He felt the race here this afternoon. Italian champion, he wants to win the Tour de France this year, and what a good psychological victory he's got over everybody else and all of his other rivals.
Well, the second stage of the Tour de France, and already there are time gaps between the favourites. This is already shaping up as a cracking race, and Vincenzo Nibali, as well as being the stage winner, is the new leader of it. We'll take a quick break, hear from the protagonists, and also hear from these two.